Welcome back, everybody, to Kind Inside the Treatment Room. Today, we are joined by Candice from Cellf. Candice, how are you?
I'm really good now.
Good.
Thank you.
How's your day been so far?
It has been non-stop, working on a lot of new exciting projects. So this is like the perfect afternoon wind down for me.
I love
so
that.
I'm very grateful for being here. So thank you, Danny.
Oh, you're most welcome. So we'll start talking about your skin before we start talking about anything else, okay? So tell us a little bit about your skin. What do you want me to work on today?
Well, I'm now 35 years old. So I guess one of my things is to try and keep really good skin health for the future so that I can, delay any early signs of aging, there's fine lines and things like that, pigmentation. I'm usually pretty gentle approach anyway, not too hard on the treatment protocols or anything, but yeah, I just really want to keep my skin health in check.
As optimal as possible, really.
Yeah,
beautiful. Well, I think what we'll do today is focus on just the hydration side of the skin because your elasticity and your collagen look amazing, okay? We're not too dehydrated because when we do our little bounce back test, she's just bouncing straight back, okay? So you can tell you definitely look after yourself.
That's great.
Looks really good. So focusing on repairing and hydration and soothing. I think the majority of it will use the Herbal Ball range. Have you heard of them before?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, it's a new range that we've gotten in out the front at Clean Beauty Market. They're absolutely lovely. So lots of ingredients that are tremella based. So tremella is a mushroom and it holds so much more weight of water inside of it, more than hyaluronic acid does. I'm sure you've heard of hyaluronic acid. Yeah, so it'll just make your skin plump out so much. It's lovely.
That sounds beautiful.
Tell everybody at home a little bit about you, yourself, and your company.
I have always been very involved in my health and fitness. I've absolutely loved that path or exploring longevity and things like that throughout my whole adult life, and even from like a young age being into sports and things. So I think that it was more my curiosity that really grew when it came to the longevity space. And I started reading books from the likes of like Dr. David Sinclair on lifespan. So, it's basically bridging your health and vitality with your lifespan. So we want to, rather than live until 100, but the last 20 years of your life be frail and just not living your best life, why not bridge that and see what we can do in the last years of our lives and try to bring that vitality through to the end. So that's always been something that I've been exploring in terms of being a lab rat myself or experimenting with different modalities. And whether it's a supplement, I also used to work in the vitamin industry. So I was obsessed with things like NAD and vitamin therapy. So I've always explored nutrients and saunas, ice baths, you name it. But the one thing that I just became utterly obsessed with was PEMF. And when I realized one day that there was just not really much talk about PEMF in Australia, and being my background in the health industry as well as being in marketing, I just saw an opportunity where not only was I able to share PEMF with my friends and family, but I could then share it with the rest of my community and Australia. So I set off for my obsessive deep dive into further understanding PEMF and the research and the studies, which there's over 30,000. And then that sort of brought me to bringing Best Cellf to life. And Best Cellf is spelt with a CELLF because I'm sort of playing on being your best self at the cellular level.
Love that. Nice little play on words.
I'm still young and hip, so being my best self, it just sort of felt like a fun way to make something that may not be that glamorous eye-catching.
Eye-catching, yeah, stand out.
Yeah, and I know we're probably wondering at this stage what PEMF actually is, and we'll get to that. But my wellness journey and my curiosity and my marketing and background just brought me to the launch of that in early 2023. And since then, we've just blossomed and helped so many people. It's just been the most fulfilling thing I've probably ever accomplished. And it's just getting better and better. So I live and breathe it probably too much. And luckily, ironically, PEMF helps with relaxation. So when my brain won't stop, I turn to PEMF to wind me down, put me into parasympathetic state and switch off.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think we all need a little bit of that.
Mm.
So tell everyone at home what PEMF is and what it stands for.
Yeah. So PEMF stands for Pulsed Electromagnetic Field Therapy. So thank God that there's an acronym because it's a mouthful. I usually call it PEMF or PEMF. And ultimately, it's a man-made technology, but it's mimicking the Earth's electromagnetic field. So like all things in wellness and biohacking, we're kind of trying to mimic natural elements that bring health to our bodies. And because our world is so different now with dirty electricity, pollution, all these different toxic chemicals, plastics, we don't get the right kind of dose of nature. And pulsed electromagnetic field in nature is actually caused by lightning strikes in our ionosphere that create an electromagnetic charge around the Earth. And we are naturally bathed in this electromagnetic field, but because there's also Wi-Fi, mobile towers, we're on the Gold Coast, there'd be a lot of electromagnetism, but it's all at very high doses and it's very strong. So we're thinking about 5G, for example. That's a soccer punch.
Yeah.
But PEMF is healthy, low natural frequencies that are resonant with the Earth and also our body. So the Earth's average electromagnetic field frequency is 7.83 hertz. You might be familiar with the Schumann resonance or grounding. A lot of people think that PEMF is like grounding, and it is in some ways because we're connecting with the energies of the Earth. But grounding is more, for example, when you're barefoot on the Earth, you're getting the free electrons from there. So it is electrical voltage, but PEMF is a different type because it's created in a different way. We're either standing on this voltage or we're bathed in it, and we want all the good stuff. So this is where the man-made technology came in. And essentially you can create pulse electromagnetic fields by using like a modulator to control frequencies. So a frequency generator, a coil, usually the most conductive and effective is a copper coil. So you'll use pure and near pure copper coils and electricity. And because it's used through Australian power mains and electrical sources, of course, anything electrical is going to emit EMFs and or stray EMFs, but you can control that with the way that you connect the device and the output. So, for example, AC to DC in electrical world, like you're able to reduce the stray electricity and you just produce the healthy PEMFs. I've probably gone already way too far.
No, I love it. Honestly, keep going. Like I'm just sitting here going, like soaking it all in. Tell me more.
There's so many components because I feel like you need to understand why we need it first from the Earth, and then get into how it actually works with our body.
Of course, yeah.
So when we are exposed to PEMF, it passes through your body. It doesn't actually recognize your bone, muscle, flesh, or anything, but our bodies are made up of cells and our cells are electromagnetic. We are electromagnetic beings. And a good way to sort of explain that to maybe the everyday person is electrolytes. So we have minerals that convert into electrolytes in our fluids, and our body is made up of trillions of cells. Each cell has processes including ion exchange. And ion exchange is when you've got those electrolytes going in and outside of your cell membrane. So the ion exchange of these minerals and electrolytes going in and out are what help with the reactions that are required to have your metabolic processes. So anything that your body requires, you need this sort of process so that your body can do what it's supposed to do. So, for example, you've got your mitochondria in your cell, which is like the energy or the battery, and it produces ATP. So we want to produce energy in our cells, not just to literally speaking give us energy, but it's to help with circulation and waste detoxification. So PEMF actually influences the electrical potential in your cells as it passes through, and it helps your cells to generate those electrical processes to help with ion exchange. And ultimately, that's going to boost your circulation to help with blood flow of oxygen, nutrients, and hormones through your body. And I think we probably all have an understanding of what that might do for so many things when your body is circulating it as it should. It works on such a deep level, but being able to circulate all those things through your body is going to have a cascade of effects. And that can be from, inflammation reduction, getting into parasympathetic state, to really calming your nervous system. It's very good for sleep, which we can touch on the brainwave entrainment that can happen as well at some stage.
Yeah.
That a lot of people use PEMF for pain reduction, arthritis. So there's lots of studies on bone healing, joint repair, cartilage, things like that. It's ultimately getting your cells to do their own job, not relying on an external source to do the work, but getting your cells to start behaving normally. Because if they're injured or sleep deprived, stressed, anything like that, that's where that voltage in the cell can be depleted, and that's where PEMF comes in.
Okay. So I did hear you mention ATP.
Yes.
Yes. Explain to the viewers, obviously, what ATP is.
Basically, that's what's produced in the mitochondria that's within your cell. And that helps with so many metabolic and biological processes. It's kind of hard to, and I'm not a biologist, so going really deep into its processes is probably a little bit beyond my scope of expertise, but it is kind of like where the powerhouse is that creates the energy in your cells to help with your body working normally.
Definitely. The only reason why I asked that is that we obviously try to boost the ATP or the adenosine in the body, because that cellular powerhouse, as you were explaining, really transfers into our skin cells.
Yes, it helps with cellular turnover.
Exactly, definitely. Yes. And when you've got really good ATP, in the cell's quite healthy, you do age quite slower. And when we're looking at ATP or adenosine in skincare, what that can do, it really oxygenates the cells, as you were saying. So it feeds those cells and just helps revitalize new collagen, new elastin. It is so good for the skin. So it's really good to hear that PEMF mats can help to increase your ATP.
Yes. So we're on the same wavelength in terms of, and no pun intended there, but even with when it comes to red light for your skin health and things, because when you have light photon or the PEMF, when they're going through to the cell, they're getting absorbed in the mitochondria, which then not only produces the ATP, but it releases nitric oxide, and that helps with the circulation. So if we're talking about your skin health, then imagine what that's doing in terms of skin turnover, as well as flushing out the waste. It's just going to completely rejuvenate you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And that's just on a superficial level with your skin. Imagine what it's doing internally to all your other organs.
That's it. Yeah. That's what I try to say is you're not trying to, it's not like a magic pill or anything. You're just getting your body to do what it's supposed to do. But it's been impacted by different things in life. Like I said, mentioned earlier, stress, sleep, things like that. It just gets you to do what you're normally supposed to do. And that's where we can really optimize our health.
Beautiful. Yeah. You've explained to us the benefits of PEMF. With the PEMF mat that you're laying on at the moment, how does that actually help us as humans?
So I'm laying on our full body PEMF mat, and that's got several coils from top to bottom, 10. And we have several different signature settings that you can use at different times of the day. So the setting that I've got on now is actually the grounding sort of frequency, like I mentioned earlier. The Earth's average electromagnetic field frequency is 7.83 hertz. I'm on that right now to get into a really nice relaxed state and just to ground myself after a busy day. Now, that's going to be beneficial because instead of being in fight and flight, running around, it's going to put me into that rest and digest state to really ease me into the evening. One of the programs that I like to use in the evening is one that gets me into a delta brainwave state. As I mentioned earlier, brainwave entrainment is also something that can happen when you use PEMF. And because our brain waves are in different frequencies, different times of the day, it's actually a natural phenomenon that can occur with PEMF's interaction with brain waves, and that's that the brain waves can mimic PEMF. So if we're doing a delta frequency in the evening and your brain's going to mimic that, then it's going to induce that sleep state. And so that's why there's a lot of studies on insomnia, sleep deprivation, and PEMF. It's very beneficial there.
You talked about one of the programs with the PEMF mat. Are there different programs other than that one? Because you've got the one that you mentioned with the delta brainwaves and sending you down into that relaxed homeostasis. You want people to do that in the afternoons. But say if you've got someone coming in for a treatment early in the morning, what program would be the best for them, and that sort of stuff?
The other programs that we have, they've been designed based on customer experience, what most of our customers are dealing with or wanting to look after and address. So we have a morning activation, and that's in the higher frequencies. Higher frequencies is still under 100 hertz. So we're still using very safe frequencies that are like synonymous with our body and how our body benefits from them. So the morning frequencies are a bit higher. That's just to stimulate your blood flow and circulation for the day, really kickstart it. And that can last up to 16 hours, even a 10-minute session, how that influences your cells and your blood cells. That's going to be really nice for morning activation. Also for the cognitive alertness. So the higher frequencies, your body's going to be in more of a beta state, knowing that you've got to be alert now. Maybe you're going to work, so you probably want that rather than a bit of brain fog. So brain fog, you can get rid of that. Circulation, you can improve. So that's a really good way to start the day. Then you've got programs like the one I'm on now for that parasympathetic that we're using for the afternoon. But another program that I've got is a little bit more for those who might be, into their weight training or athletes, and they've got a lot of muscle recovery needed, muscle repair and just relaxation, as well as some more serious ailments. There's a specific program that uses frequencies based on the research, and that one runs for about 60 minutes and is very good for that. Usually you'll have it in the morning or till early afternoon.
Okay, so if you have had someone who's had their Pilates session or their exercise training early in the morning and then they come in for a facial, you would best suggest for them to use that particular modality because it will help their muscles to recover from that exercise regime?
Yeah. So I think it depends on their sleep pattern, obviously, but I usually try to keep lower frequencies from about 5 p.m. onwards. But yeah, in a clinic, typically you're open until then anyway. Then you could definitely use more of the muscle recovery frequencies. I think my voice is going funny.
Could be the laying down. If you want me to get you a little cup of tea,
I
can have a little tea intervention.
I don't know what's happening.
It happens when, I find I get quite nasally when I lay down. It's just, I'm starting to talk from the back of my throat instead of the front of it, which I normally do.
But no, it is nice and relaxing anyway. So yes, you could have someone come in and use that, or if they just really come here to unwind and get the facial and have a little nap, you could pop them on the setting that I'm on now, which is why I'm feeling so relaxed.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's good to know that you've got different modalities too, so it's not just helping out the parasympathetic nervous system to help you relax and unwind. You've got different modalities for different things, which is really important.
Oh, yeah. And I wish that I could go deep dive into a lot of the literature and studies out there, but we have to keep tight with things in terms of what we would claim to treat or cure. We consider ourselves more of a wellness device and exercising your cells.
Beautiful.
You're sort of like giving them a nice massage like you're giving me right now. And you're just wanting them to give them a little nudge to do what they're supposed to do.
I love that. That just sounds incredible.
Yeah, the best way to put it, I think.
So good. So talk to me about a little event that's coming up, because I'm really excited to know a bit more about this. So you will be attending the Biohackers Summit that's coming to the Gold Coast in October. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yes. So first, how lucky are we on the Gold Coast?
Oh,
This
amazing.
is a one-of-a-kind event for Australia. And I think, it's been these sorts of events are usually where you have to fly to America or, London, Europe. But we actually have it on our doorstep, which is incredibly exciting because there's going to be so many amazing keynote speakers there. And luckily, Cellf is going to be, we're one of the partners, and we're going to be there on the day showcasing our PEMF range.
Oh, so good. So you're going to be there the Saturday or the Sunday?
Both days.
Both days. Why not?
And you know what? Even if I didn't have Cellf, I would have been there 100% because, like I said at the beginning of this podcast, I am obsessed with biohacking and wellness. And to be able to have something like this come to the Gold Coast to fully immerse myself in that world, I'm just going to absolutely geek out. Absolutely.
It's definitely why I got a ticket. I was like, I've got to be there.
Oh, yes.
Just knowing so many different, just the inside scoop from everyone will be absolutely incredible.
Yeah, it's not your everyday, expo or anything. It's really an immersion into this world and things that we don't really get to hear about or see much in the Australian wellness industry. Although it's growing, this is really going to be something that kickstarts it in a whole new way.
Yeah, for sure. So have you got a stand there or are you guest speaking?
So we've got a stand.
Yeah.
I mean, if you would call it a stand, we're working on a really beautiful area for Cellf. It'll be a really nice flow through experience that I can't reveal too much about at this stage, but you will be able to get to experience our mats, and you'll also be able to go see so many other incredible businesses and probably get to play around with or drink or eat their incredible products.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, I'm so excited. All right. Well, I'll see you there for my immersive Cellf therapy.
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah, your turn to be laying down.
Yeah, get a little bit of R&R for myself.
That's it.
We're going to bring the LED machine over. For everyone listening to the podcast, either on Spotify or Apple, you have to jump over to my Instagram right now to get a visual of what is going on in the room, okay? So we've just turned the Cellf red light therapy machine on. We do incorporate these into a couple of our facials here at Kind, because what it does is it really helps to stimulate new collagen and elastin growth. It's also really good to help reduce any inflammation within the skin. So you can incorporate that into a facial of your choice. So jump over onto the Instagram so you can see what's going on right now. I really love this stand, Candice. I've never geeked out so much.
Really?
LED machine before.
Oh, that's a lovely compliment. Well, everything that we do is sort of about accessibility and ease.
Exactly.
And yeah. While PEMF is like my bread and butter and what I'm obsessed with, I also absolutely love light therapy. And a lot of people, when they use the type of technology that we have, like PEMF, they want to sort of stack it with other things. Like, what can you do in one session that, amplify one another? And light therapy is a really good optimizer. And whether it's standalone or with your PEMF. So we have red light devices as well. And the lamp is just so versatile. It's like super light. You can adjust the stand height to whatever you like. So for example, my home, I've got my full body mat and I've got the red light that goes right over the top of it. So I'll usually start on the top, quite close proximity to my body for like the face and the décolletage. But then I might move it down further if I've got any, knee pain from the gym or anything like that in the other areas of my body, even period pain, I might move the light over to those areas as well. And it's just, all in one session, super easy.
Yeah. I'm just having a look at the top of it now. So you can unscrew the LED plate from the stand. And as you said, pop it on any particular body part if you want to take it off of the stand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you prefer that direct contact or that kind of portability, you can definitely unscrew it from the lamp post and place it there. Or you can just adjust the arms and the height of the lamp.
Yeah, beautiful. So for everyone listening at home that isn't getting a visual at the moment, normally when you come in for a facial with me, I do have a beautiful LED machine, but it is a dome. So it sits on the bed and it goes directly over the face. And throughout that time, I do normally give my clients a beautiful hand and arm massage. They absolutely love it, which I'll still do throughout this process. But with this lamp, because it's on a stand, I can still directly massage the face. I can treat the neck and décolletage area. So you're getting much more out of your treatment with this LED machine. And I think that's why I love it so much. Also, how slim it is. A lot of the times when we have LED machine professionally on the stands, they're so big and bulky. They look like giant, like electrical mixers, you know? This is a tiny little sleek black stand. Goes very well with my aesthetics. I love it.
Yeah, that was another thing. Like the big red light panels and stuff, like I love them too. I think that there's a lot of great products out there. But if for my particular target audience and my customers, I knew that the lamp was going to be perfect because it was just so lightweight. We have a lot of beautiful, mature customers out there as well, and they don't want to be moving around a big bulky panel. It just works really nicely.
Definitely. A lot of the time when I'm looking for a good red light therapy machine, I am looking for the energy output. A lot of my clients do ask me about what type of LED mask or machine they should use at home. And I do always stipulate to them, it is good to know the milliwatts per square centimeter because that's the energy output of the machine. A lot of them don't have sufficient or high enough milliwatts per square centimeter. So the energy output just isn't strong enough. What that means is it's basically just a glorified Christmas light is the best way to put it. It's not going to be able to transfer into the skin to then transfer into the energy to do any changes on a cellular level. Can you talk to me more about what level the best Cellf lamp sits on?
Yeah, so you're right with the whole thing about, is it just a glorified Christmas light or if it's actually producing the right radiance? And there's lots of studies out there using different lengths. So we've obviously got the wavelengths that come from different light therapies, and then there's the irradiance, which is the energy strength or output. When we're looking at the wavelengths, so red light is usually around the 630, 650 zone. And then you've got the near infrared, which is more of an invisible light, but it can produce a gentle warmth. That's around the 850, 860. I would go off irradiance in terms of what sort of strength you're going to get to input into the skin to really get the benefits. Ours, and also it matters how close you are to the device as well. So the closer you are, the stronger the energy and direct energy input to your body. The further away, it's going to be diluted. Just like how the closer you are to a PEMF coil, you get the strongest intensity. The further away, it may still exist, but not as strong. We're usually talking measurements of can be anything from even 20 that's been studied up to 120, 140 milliwatts per centimeter squared. But I'm pretty sure, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but from my memory recall right now, it's around that 120
It is
what you would like to have. And you know what? You've always got to, when it comes to purchasing these devices, it's not just about where they're from or how much they cost. You want to make sure that you've got the specifications clearly outlined. Maybe if they've got their electrical safety certificates as well, because they need to be backed with that information in order to be certified. You also want to make sure that, the quality is great, the customer service is great too. Otherwise, if it doesn't last as long as you'd hoped, it's going to be harder to get a replacement. But there's so many devices out there, and you might be familiar with ones that like the panels that might light up a whole room, and they probably have the exact same irradiance and they do based on most of my research, compared to smaller handheld devices or face devices, but they might seem brighter to you because it's the one way to think about red light therapy and even near infrared, which mostly these days they're dual technologies in the one device. So some red light masks you'll have just red light, some you'll have dual, which we can get into their benefits shortly. But when you're looking at a panel that might light up a whole room, think of it like a lamp. So a lamp bulb, it has light scattering all across the room to brighten up the whole room. But Then there's the laser as opposed to a lamp bulb. A laser is pinpointed energy directly onto something. So while some devices may not throw a big bright red across the room, they have more of a laser focus, and they're directing that energy into what they're shedding light on. So if that's your skin, then there you go. But it can be really hard to navigate the industry or like what to buy. I would actually say a lot of the devices are probably good. You just want to make sure you get from a brand that you can trust.
So there's obviously different nanometers of wavelengths, as you were explaining. So talk to us a little bit more about them and how they benefit each person.
Yeah, so the wavelengths can be throwing shades of color, or they can be invisible. And it's also about the level of penetration into your skin too. So when we talk about red light therapy, it's red light, visible, and it penetrates only millimeters beneath the skin surface. Now, even though it's millimeters, that's still a lot in terms of your skin health. And that's why red light is so beneficial for your skin, because it's still, if you can remember a little earlier in the podcast, I was talking about when light photons go into the cell and get absorbed in the mitochondria. Now, because our skin is also made up of cells, then we're going to have that same effect at that surface level. So red light is really good for surface level anti-aging. Also, that absorption in the cell helps with like an antioxidant effect. So you've got that cell turnover, the flushing out of the waste, and that energy production is just, perfect for anti-aging, skin health, wound and scar healing, things like that. It's very, very good for, and well documented too.
Oh, I've seen some amazing results with scar revision just with LED alone. It's been phenomenal.
Yeah, I just think it's so good to have it in the salon or in the clinic, but then also to be able to use it like straight after a certain type of treatment that it's compatible with, having it at home for a few days after to help with that healing process. Like it's just going to help with that elastin and collagen build up even more. So it's like you can really optimize that skin treatment that you've had in clinic for the long-term benefit.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. And I think that's what I really love about this, because you're getting that same energy output from a professional machine at home, which you don't normally get with a lot of the machines that are out there. The energy output's just so much less for the at-home machines.
Yeah, that's it. And they've all got, different LED counts, different irradiance, different wavelengths. So that's sort of like, you've got to do your research. Plus, it's always an investment. So you kind of have no choice if you want to make sure you're making the best decision. One another wavelength we touched on, but is often in dual treatments. So whether it's at home or in clinic, you'll often have near infrared light, which is at 850 nanometer. That actually penetrates deeper than red light. It can be up to 2 to 5 centimeters, depending on the strength. And so that's why people often use that for anti-inflammatory, muscle recovery, inflammation. Still really good for your skin health as well, but it just goes a little bit further beneath into your body to be able to really help with that kind of energy production at that level. So having the combined treatment is incredible. And another thing to consider is near infrared light can be slightly more stimulating because it is going in a bit further, but you might want to avoid use just before you want to go to sleep. But typically it's gentle and safe enough to use for most of the day.
Okay, beautiful. Oh, I love that. Oh, I'm so excited for this.
Yeah.
This is going to be life-changing. I'm just going to take this home with me every single day.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously I have them in my office and at home, but I'll do one at the desk. And then I'll also do a session before bed too, because I can fall asleep because I've got the PEMF mat as well. So I'm going into delta mode with my PEMF frequencies, and then I've got my red light lamp over my body. It's just like the most perfect, delicious sandwich. Like you wouldn't want to be wrapped in anything else.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Oh, how's your skin feeling? Let's check in with you.
So good. I'm feeling like nice and cozy warm now. Feeling supple. I'm surprised I was able to stay alert.
You did really well.
Through such a relaxing treatment.
Oh, you've done so well. All right, so what we're going to do is just remove that LED light. I'm going to take those little cotton rounds off. I've had a very small percentage of people going, do you think LED is safe? You've had so many other things in the beauty industry come out. Would it be, are you getting too much EMF radiance from these machines?
Oh, okay.
Would you be able to answer that or no?
Yeah. So one thing about the safety of LED in this industry, the only thing that I'd probably be able to say based on my expertise is how they're electronically certified. There's very robust studies on them. Like anyone can search these studies online. They're very safe so long as you've got a device that meets the Australian electrical standards, and whether you feel better off having, TGA approval.
So you've got, obviously, there's electricity that's drawn from these machines.
Oh, yes, the EMFs.
Yes. Do people need to worry about the EMF that's distributed from these machines?
I guess the EMFs thing, that's a big part of my world and what I do. And I mentioned that at the start about how we're producing PEMFs, but part of that is an EMF, electromagnetic field. But we keep it very low by the way that the product is designed. That's the same for LED machines. Every electrical device is made differently and uses different adapters, whether it's a direct AC current or a direct current DC. You might be familiar with like AC to DC adapters and things. They can really shut down a lot of EMFs, but the only real way you can tell, other than reading a specs list for an LED machine, is doing a test yourself. So some of the tools I have are hundreds of dollars to test this kind of reading. We get mixed up in the world of EMFs as to what EMFs we're actually looking for. Radio frequency is the one that people would be familiar with in terms of Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, microwaves, all that sort of stuff. That's actually the EMF we're looking at there is radio frequency. Mm-hmm. Now, when it comes to these sorts of devices, we're not sending signals anywhere. We're not sending Bluetooth, Wi-Fi or anything. We're actually going into like more of the weighted and standard electrical voltage ratings. That's by like voltage per meter squared. This is where more numbers come in with the V/M's and C squares and everything. We're talking about numbers again because there's electrical safety standards that we have to make sure that we address.
Yeah.
And with our PEMFs, we've reduced that to practically zero. But anything that's like 10 volts per meter squared is considered very safe for long-term exposure. That's even just considered in the wellness space when you're really being pedantic. It's actually, because I go off that reading, that's usually what's in my brain, but I think it's actually like 1,000 volts per meter squared is what the international institutes that focus on EMFs say is in the safe measurements. So under that is safe, but we want to be under 10. Let's try to aim for that because we're using them all the time. We're exposed to them.
No.
You would do the same thing reading the that measurement on one of these EMF meters, and a cheap $20, $50 one won't be able to read it the same way as something that a couple of $100 would do. So you hopefully rely on the brand to be able to provide those information reports to prove it.
Oh, I really appreciate you explaining that, because obviously I do explain that to my clients that come and see me for treatments, but for the listeners who haven't yet come to see me, it is really good for them to know that it is safe.
It definitely is. And you know what, even with the wavelengths and LED in general, there's so much robust scientific literature out there to say that it's safe. The next step is we know that the wavelengths and their irradiance are legit. Now let's find a legit brand or device that makes sure they disclose that kind of information, and it's not just an Alibaba one that doesn't tell you really anything. And not saying that the Alibaba ones are bad either, but you want to make sure that you can find the right info, or if something was to go wrong, you could return it really easily.
Exactly, yeah. Oh, thank you so much for explaining all of that. So what's next for Best Cellf?
Well, we are about to launch our new gen PEMF range, which is just a long time coming. I'm extremely proud. We've designed it here in Australia, collaborated with electrical engineers to be able to do something that's completely distinct to Best Cellf, unlike anything else in the market. We surprisingly, PEMF is quite, it's up and coming, and we've got a lot more competitors coming from the UK and America and Europe now, and a lot of them have similar looking products but maybe lack the specifications that ours have. So we've had to like grow and pivot, but that's all a part of our journey to our best self. So it makes complete sense that we've evolved our PEMF range. And this one, we've listened to customer feedback in terms of the weight, portability, user friendliness, and just the research that's out there and the growing research on waveforms, frequencies. So this new range is pretty much the creme de la creme of PEMF. And we will have some other style products, not just our mats. So we're actually going to have a belt, which is portable and battery operated. So, for example, if you wanted to use it for period pain, you can have it over your stomach wherever you are, even on a plane.
So good.
And battery operated, that means there's no EMFs for those who would be concerned in that aspect as well. But you just get all the beneficial PEMFs and, back pain, spot treatments. That'll be perfect for that. We're also launching a mineral supplement, which I'm incredibly excited about because it seems a little bit left field from what our product range is now. But if you remember me saying earlier, I used to work in the vitamin industry.
Yeah.
I feel like I've sort of come full circle because minerals, electrolytes, PEMF, like they're all vital to help each other. And making Mineral Plus was pretty much just because I felt there was a gap in truly clean powders out there that didn't contain silica, no artificial flavors and colors, but also some really good functional nutrients. Like our product will have more than just minerals in it. It'll actually have things that help more of a deeper cellular hydration level, not just the superficial hydration. So we've got the mineral sup, we've got the new PEMF range, and we've got the Biohack Summit coming up. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
I'm just wired most of the time now. And the ironic part is that PEMF is my retreat. I'll lay on it to switch off, and then I'll go into the office and I'll switch back on with PEMF brain.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Well, that's amazing that you're expanding Best Cellf too, because that mineral supplement sounds amazing. I can't wait to hear more about that.
Oh yeah, you'll definitely have to try it. I'm very proud of it because it's pretty much just listening to our community, what they want, what the reasons why they haven't been taking a mineral supplement. Maybe it's too sweet. Maybe it's, got the wrong vitamins and things for them. Sometimes everything is too overcomplicated. So we just are very excited to produce these things for our community and, spread the word that all these natural things are so good for you.
I love that. Oh, thank you so much for coming in today. I absolutely and just mesmerized by everything that you've had to say. I just geek out on this stuff. I find it so fascinating.
Yeah. I hope it wasn't too much of a mouthful and easy to digest because it's my passion. I probably live and breathe it too much.
Yeah,
and
that's completely understandable. I think I do the same thing. But look, if any of the listeners do want to know more information, or there's something that Candice and I touched on today where you're just quite unsure of what that meant and you want to know more about it, please reach out to either of us via Instagram or via our website. We're more than happy to answer any of your questions in regards to red light therapy, near-infrared light therapy, and the PEMF mats.
Yeah, and thank you so much for having me this hour. It's been so lovely to switch off my body, even though my brain is activated. But I love that you love this, and I hope that your community does too. And we're in Burleigh as well, so we have a showroom that people are welcome to come visit and check out the mats for themselves. Beautiful. Or try out things in here. It's just so much. And the Biohack Summit. Yeah. Come see us there and explore the amazing world of biohacking.
Come say hi.
It's going to be amazing.
Perfect. All right, Candice, thank you so much again for coming in today. That's all that we have time for today, but I really appreciate you just explaining a little bit more about Best Cellf.
Thanks, Danny.